So far, we have taken a look at the top point guards, top shooting guards and top small forwards in the NBA ahead of the 2025 season. Today we are going to break down the top 10 power forwards, a position with one yearly MVP candidate, some all-NBA level guys and a few potential all-stars. The power forward position today looks night and day from what it did even 10 years ago, with today's best fours expected to space the floor, be able to dribble and defend multiple positions. Let's then check the top 10 starting with number 10, which belongs to Kyle Kuzma. He is a face-up floor spacing power forward. Kyle Kuzma can do some scoring one-on-one on the perimeter, although not the most efficiently a lot of the time. Still, Kuzma can make some tough shots and drive the basketball very well for a power forward, so he does have plenty of positive value. Even if his shooting marks aren't that efficient, averaging over 22 points per contest is nothing to scoff at, even in today's high-scoring NBA. Plus, Kuzma has already proven he can be a role player on a championship-level team during his time with the Lakers. Maybe once his salary is back under $20 million in 2027, a contender will try to trade for him so he can get back to that role player on a great team level he is most efficient at. Number 9. Evan Mobley. He is a power forward with huge upside thanks to his high skill level to go with elite physical traits. Mobley is still just scratching the surface of what he can become after putting up 16 points, 9 rebounds and 3 assists last season. He has been in the NBA for just 3 seasons now, while his numbers have pretty much stagnated since year 1, hovering around 15 points and 9 rebounds nightly. It should also be noted that Mobley made the Cavaliers 2 points per 100 possessions worse while on the floor last season, a somewhat concerning mark considering it was already year 3 for him. Either way, Cleveland has to be thrilled to have Mobley locked up to a long-term extension, as not only he has already produced somewhat impressive numbers, but he also still has a lot of potential thanks to his length, quickness, shot blocking and skill as a shooter with his feet set or off the dribble. It will just be interesting to find out if Kenny Atkinson can finally unplug his potential in 2025. Number 8. Julius Randle. Tough injury luck ended what was looking to be a special season for Randle after just 46 games. Randle was one of just 5 players this season, putting up a 24 points, 9 rebounds and 5 assists stat line, with the other 4 being Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic and Joel Embiid, the 4 MVP candidates, and Randle, one of the best power forwards in the game today. Randle's being out played a large role in New York falling in the second round of the playoffs once again, as the absence of his scoring, rebounding and playmaking proved too much for the Knicks to overcome against the Pacers in the conference semifinals. The lefty big man has a quick first step, a very strong left shoulder, good athleticism around the rim, a solid shooting touch as a floor spacer, and underrated vision as a playmaker. He may not be the most efficient outside shooter, but he at least needs to be guarded out there, opening up driving lanes for Randle to what he does best, which is attack the basket. It will be very interesting to see what the Timberwolves are able to do next season with Randle in the roster, as his arrival along with Donte DiVincenzo is going to change how the Timberwolves are going to play in the upcoming season. Number 7. Jaren Jackson Jr. As a former Defensive Player of the Year, he is a pretty unique big man, in that he's got extremely quick feet and the agility to defend guards on switches, as well as good length and great timing to defend the rim and elite level. Jackson Jr. led the league in blocks back-to-back years in 2022 and 2023. He is also a big man who can at least somewhat space the floor, shooting over 34% from beyond the arc for his career. On the other hand, he is an extremely poor rebounder for his position and not efficient enough of an outside shooter to make up for it. Meaning Memphis has to play him alongside a great rebounding center for him to be at his most effective. That worked out well for the team in 2023 when the Grizzlies had the veteran big man Steven Adams at the 5, but his subsequent injury that season pretty much ended their chances at contention. That's at least part of the reason why the Grizzlies opted to draft Zach Edey, 9th overall this summer, to replace the void left behind by Adams, who is now with the Houston Rockets. If Edey can at least reach Adams' level impact on the glass, that will help get Jackson Jr. back to top form, as he was an all-star not that long ago. and should be able to reach that level again with a healthier Memphis squad around him. Number 6. Pascal Siakam. He really enjoyed a solid half-season debut with his new team after a mid-season trade from the Toronto Raptors, putting up over 21 points and almost 8 rebounds with Indiana on almost 55% shooting from the floor and close to 39% from 3. Siakam also played a strong part in Indiana's run to the Eastern Conference Finals, putting up a 21 points, 8 rebounds and 4 assists stat line in the postseason. Alongside a playmaker as elite as Tyrese Haliburton, and fitting perfectly with a floor-spacing center like Miles Turner, Siakam's production should only continue to grow with the Pacers, as his skills in transition and as a slasher will be able to shine in Indiana after a full off-season with the team. He also has an underrated mid-range pull-up game and has the ability to hit tough shots, which will help the Pacers late in tight games. Number 5. Lauri Markkanen. I don't know if there was any name mentioned more often in trade rumors last season than Finnish forward. Instead, he agreed to a long-term extension with Utah Jazz. Things sort of fell apart for Utah this past campaign, with the team's lack of talent and experience finally really catching up to them, with the Jazz going 31 wins and 51 losses and Markkanen suiting up in just 55 games. But in those 55 games, Markkanen was still impressive, putting up 23 points and 8 rebounds per night on nearly 40% shooting from 3. He may not be much of a defender, but he is an elite face-up, floor-spacing power forward, making him a top target for various teams this past summer, namely the Golden State Warriors. Even despite proving he can be an all-star as a team's number 1, Markkanen might actually be best suited to be a second or third option on a playoff contender, something he would have been able to display in Golden State. Instead though, at least for 2025, as he is ineligible to be traded for all of next season, we will get to see Markkanen continue to put up big numbers on a rebuilding team. Number 4. Karl-Anthony Towns. It's hard to believe that he has already been in an NBA for 9 years, as it feels like yesterday Minnesota drafted him number 1 overall. Towns has already been in the NBA for so long that he can say he played with Kevin Garnett as a rookie, which feels really crazy. Towns remains one of the better big men in the NBA. Though it could be seen as a bit of disappointment, he is not further along in his career by now, considering he was averaging 25 points and 12 rebounds as a second-year player and earning third-team All-NBA honors in his third season. Still, the level Towns has seemingly stagnated at is still an impressive one. After all, he is a productive scorer as a face-up big man, as a driver and as a post-up threat, a borderline all-star on a yearly basis with good rebounding and solid playmaking numbers. What's more, he played a huge role in Minnesota's Western Conference Finals run last season for the franchise's best finish to a campaign in 20 years. Then again, Towns going ice-cold late in the postseason pretty much ended the Wolves' beat at the finals trip, as he shot just 20% from 3 over his last 7 playoff games. And that is going to be a big issue for the New York Knicks if he continues to be ice-cold in the most important games during the playoffs. Besides that, he is probably not going to play power forward position anymore this season, as Knicks traded for him as a potential starting center. Number 3. Paolo Banchero. With such pace, it might be his first but also last season at the lowest step of the podium. Banchero's got a unique game, towering at a listed 6'10", the 250 pounds, but with skill as a face-up tough shot maker, a spot-up or pull-up shooter, or as a rim attacker. And if that wasn't enough, he's also got a great basketball IQ as a playmaker and is a solid rebounder as well. Banchero can play bully ball driving the ball, and also has a soft touch around the rim, and from the mid-range as well, to make him extremely difficult to defend. He is still ridiculously 21 years old and will be improving upon his 3-point accuracy, which he already did from year 1 to year 2, going from 30% from 3 as a rookie to almost 34% last season. A similar leap in 2025 could have Banchero getting All-NBA consideration as soon as his third season, which based on his first 2 pro campaigns wouldn't be all that surprising at this point. Orlando's got a special talent on its hands. Number 2. Zion Williamson. There are some photos around the internet showing that Zion Williamson is looking as slim as probably ever. And that is building excitement for 2025 season. The way Williamson ended his 2024 season with arguably the best performance of his career in the play-in game against the Lakers also leads us to believe this campaign to be the best of Williamson's career. Of course, Zion finally having an all-NBA season will depend on his health, as he hasn't had the best injury luck in his career, playing a total of 29 games throughout 2 seasons. However, Williamson did play in 70 regular season games last year, and the weight loss should continue to help him stay healthy going forward too. I'm really hoping for a healthy Zion in 2025, as he is the one of the most freakish athletes in all of sports. Plus he wants to win, and we all finally saw it last season. I simply want more. And finally, number 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo. There is no discussion. He is the best power forward in the game and a player who would be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he retired today. Doesn't matter what happens later. He finished 4th in the MVP vote last season, while earning first team All-NBA and All-Star honors after putting up monstrous numbers once again. He now totals 2 MVP awards, 8 All-Star appearances, 8 All-NBAs, including 6 first teams and 2 second teams, 1 Defensive Player of the Year award, and 4 All-NBA first teams. Oh, and he already has an NBA championship and a Finals MVP under his belt too. And to all of that, he is just 29 years old and hasn't shown any sign of decline. 2025 should be another huge season for Antetokounmpo individually. Though the Greek superstar would likely be hoping for more team success, which would be fully possible, as last season's big addition, Damian Lillard, will be more acclimated to his new team situation. But still, no real threat for his position in this ranking. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching another part of the ranking. We are left with center position, which should be uploaded around next week. Thanks again, and bye.